Greetings for the day, dear students. In my previous lectures, I had told you about the general introduction of nucleic acids, structure of DNA, and the structure of RNA. In that series of my lectures, today I'll take a subtopic, that is helix coil transition. Let's start. Helix coil transition. In its biological or the native state, a DNA molecule has a form of well-known right-handed double helix, wherein two heteropolymer chains are wound around each other. We have discussed already in our previous lectures that DNA is formed of backbone of phosphates linked to deoxyribose sugars and side group amine bases. The charged phosphate groups are hydrophilic. The deoxyribose sugar groups are mostly hydrophobic, and the amine bases contain both hydrophobic and hydrophilic groups. This we have already studied when we had discussed the structure of DNA. DNA forms a helical structure which is stable because of the stacking of the amine bases and the hydrogen bonding between them. The helical structure is effective at hiding the hydrophobic sugar groups and contact with water. The helix phase undergoes transition, that is, in other way we can say that it melts into disordered coils under various conditions. In this diagram, there is a schematic representation of the DNA helix and coil conformation. The double helical structure is believed to be the structure of minimum free energy under the normal physiological conditions. It is stabilized by many factors, and among which the most essentials are hydrogen bonds between the complementary nitrogen bases. E is joined to T, that is adenosine is joined to tyrosine and guanine to cytosine, or G is bonded to C on opposite chains, and the interactions between neighboring base pairs along the chain, that is stacking of the base pairs which have hydrophobic nature. When the environmental conditions are changed, the two chains can separate from each other along the same parts of the molecule, giving rise to the loops bordered by helical regions. The double helix can also unwind completely and split into two separate chains. Thus, the whole molecule or its parts undergo the transition from the state of energetically favorable high ordered helical structure into the state of disordered coil with large entropy. This process is known as helix coil transition. Alternative names are melting or denaturation. The helix coil transition can be caused by many factors. In the living cell, it is mediated by specific protein molecules. In cases of in vitro experiments, it may be realized by changing the temperature, chemical composition, the concentration of salts, etc. of the DNA solution. Alpha helix, first proposed by Pauling and co-workers in 1950, is one of the basic structural elements in proteins. So far, it has been used as a model system for studying the formation of secondary structures in proteins by experimental and theoretical and simulation methods. Theories of alpha helix to coil transitions have been used for interpreting the experimental and simulation results. One of the best known theories for the helix coil transition was established by Zim and Bragg since 5 decades ago. In this classical theory, each residue is assumed to be either in a coiled or a helical state. The formation of a native hydrogen bond that is we also call H bond, distinguishes a helical residue from a coil residue as schematically shown in the next slide. Here this is shown the either the helical structure or the coil structure. So this figure is the schematic representation of the formation of an alpha helix block. Symbol O or I denotes the coiled residue. The theory has two parameters. First, nucleation parameter or the sigma. It denotes the degree of difficulty in nucleating a helical residue among coil blocks. And second one is propagation parameter or the S. It measures the ability of helix propagation at the helix coil interface. These two Zimbach parameters, that is sigma and S, have been considered as the fundamental parameters for describing the helix coil transition and the tendency of different residues in helix formation. For example, first is the host guest method. Shiga and co-workers first put forward a host guest method in which amino acid of interest is incorporated into long random copolymers to measure Zimbach parameters. Second is the alternative method. It was proposed by Baldwin and co-workers, in which the parameters are determined via substitution into short polyanion helices. These experimental results revealed different tendencies of helical formations for different residues. Proteins and nucleic acids are long chain polymers, as we know, which in an aqueous solution are expected to behave like one-dimensional random coils. This is an extremely high entropy state because of the large number of possible conformations. However, in the solid phase, the free energy is minimized by taking up a helical formation, the famous double-stranded helical structure of DNA being an example. Experimental evidence indicates that the isolated biopolymer in solution is in a state of equilibrium between helix and random coils. And this figure shows the temperature variation of optical density of DNA. This raises interesting question about the nature of the equilibrium, that is, the coexistence of both helix and coil, and the effects of temperature, pH, salt concentration and chain length on equilibrium. Measurements of properties such as optical density, which has been shown in the previous figure, show a very sharp transition with temperature, indicating that the helix coil transition might be a phase transition. So this was all about this subtopic, that is helix coil transition. This topic is actually research based topic, so you won't get much in your books about this topic. So I had told you in this lecture about very advanced level of this subtopic. Thank you. Have a nice day.